If the presser foot is in the up position, the thread will pull through the needle with no effort at all. With the presser foot in the down position, the tension is applied to the thread. With the thread tensioner set to 0 and the foot down, there's no tension applied to the thread. With the thread tensioner set right up on 9, there's too much tension applied to the thread and either the needle would snap or the thread would snap. So we know this tensioner is functioning correctly. If you find by altering the thread tension on the front of the machine that it's having no effect on the thread tension at the needle, there's a good chance that you've got some thread or lint jammed between the tension discs just here at the tensioner. On this machine the tension is here, but on yours it could be elsewhere. The best way of checking it is increase the thread tension to 9 and give the thread a pull at the needle. You should find that with your average kind of size 12 needle, a good quality thread like a Gutterman thread, polyester, that either the thread's going to snap or the needle's going to bend. If you find that that's not happening, and even with the machine set up on 9 you find that you've got insufficient tension, there's a good chance that you're going to have stuff jammed in there between the tension discs. It's difficult to explain what's happening in here, but basically you've got two metal discs in there with a spring behind. So you've got a metal disc like that, another metal disc on top, and a spring behind that one. The thread goes between the two discs. As you increase the number on the tensioner, the spring pressure increases against the two metal discs, thereby squeezing on the thread even harder. As you reduce the tension on the front of the machine, the spring pressure reduces on the tension discs. If you've got a bit of rubbish or a bit of something trapped between these discs, it stops the discs from squeezing down on the thread. So somehow you've got to get that stuff out. A good way of doing it is simply by raising the presser foot to the up position, which will part the discs and make the disc come apart. At that point, try and give it a blow down here and try and blow it out. If you can't dislodge it, then you could try getting a folded piece of fabric, put it between the tension discs and just saw it back and forth and try and dislodge whatever that something is. Give it another blow and hopefully you'll get it out. Then retest the tension again. Put the presser foot in the lower position and give the thread a pull. We know this machine is functioning correctly because it's a brand new machine. So if you wanted to be really scientific about setting up the thread tension, and you had a spring balance, thread the machine around to where you would go through the take-up lever, set the presser foot down, and with the thread tensioner set on 4, pull up on your spring balance, which would be attached to your thread. At that point you should be showing between 70 and 85 grams on the thread tensioner. If you had the thread tension set on 9, your spring balance should show 180 grams or more at this point. I wouldn't get too preoccupied by it if you don't have a spring balance, because simply by threading the machine in your normal way down to the needle, and then by simply pulling on the thread at the needle with a size 12 needle, a good quality thread, you should be able to ascertain the same kind of result just by pulling on the thread and seeing the needle flex 3 to 4 millimeters at the end. Okay, so now for testing. We've got green thread on the top and grey on the bottom. I've deliberately set the thread tensioner down to about 2, so I know that it's not going to look right, but I'm just trying to simulate what it will look like if the top thread is set too low. So we'll show a bit of a sample. We've got the machine set on zigzag with a stitch length of 2. So the top looks fine. Underneath we can see it's actually not too bad, but there are green thread shown on the underside of the fabric. Top looks fine, but underneath, where we should see virtually all grey and no green, we are seeing some green. So that's because the upper thread is set too low. So I'll increase the thread tension to where it should be. And now looking underneath, we can see that there's no green shown underneath, only grey. And on the upper side, only green shown and no grey. So the thread tensions are now balanced, and you've got the correct amount on the top and the bottom. If the upper thread was too tight, it would start to pull some of the bobbin thread up to the top. So you would actually see some of the grey bobbin thread pulled to the top of the fabric. You can see here again the thread tension is pretty much perfect, except for where I turn the corner just here. So that's how your machine should perform if you've got your thread tensions balanced correctly. So finally, if you're still having trouble and the machine is missing stitches, you could check the timing of the machine. So we've removed the bobbin case, move these 2 clips back, remove the retaining ring, and at this point you can leave the hook in. What we're going to check is that the eye of the needle is in the correct place at the tip of the hook when the machine is set on its widest zigzag. So set the machine on the widest zigzag it will do, and then start to rotate the hand wheel on the side of the machine. So the tip of the hook just here is above the eye of the needle at that point. As we rotate the hand wheel on the side, the needle shifts over to the right hand side and then comes back down. On its upward stroke, so the needle's rising now, the tip of the hook comes round and should just about be just above the eye of the needle. Okay, which it is. If it's coming round on the eye of the needle, it will repeatedly break the thread. If it's just below the eye of the needle, then it's going to keep missing stitches. But that is set just as it should be, with the tip of the hook just above the eye. So you can now check the timing of the machine. If the machine is out of time, the best thing you can do is drop it into somebody who actually knows how to repair it properly. What we've done here is just to show you how to identify that the machine is out of time, and there's no point in wasting your time trying to get the machine to sew if the timing's out. To actually alter the timing is quite involved, and you're best off dropping it into a sewing machine shop that actually knows how to repair it properly.